Hi, Linda Artisani and Sarah Prevost from the Proper Trust, and we specialize in data migration, taking law firms off of antiquated desktop-centric systems and moving them to the cloud.
And we are here to kind of discuss some of the benefits and possible challenges that some of the firms that we've worked with nationally and internationally of what they've faced and how we can sort of help summarize what works best.
Yeah, because we've done this for a while. We've had multiple customers that we've taken and modernized their firms. And what would you say the first thing is, Sarah, that's probably the first question we get asked? What do you think the first one is?
One of the top ones, one of the top three, when is the best time to start? That always seems to be like aligned somehow with a calendar year. And sure, that's okay to do, but really, honestly, we really like to see this being considered or even discussed maybe in quarter three and starting the process in quarter four. There's really no perfect time. You just have to figure out what's going to work with your budget, time, and workflows.
And if your desktop-centric program's crashing and you're just so frustrated, that's still a good time to do it. I don't care if it's June, right? For
That's
certain.
such a good point, Linda. That is so, yeah, it's, some people
Sometimes
are,
the next question we usually hear is, how long is this going to take? Is it going to be like, can I start next month to start doing my billing in the cloud?
that's a great question too. And I think based on what we've seen, it's a combination, right? Like, don't you feel it's a little bit of a combination of uh, the time spent from the firm, who's the appointed person or persons that we want to keep in the loop, and how do we roll out all of this? And we have enough experience to help guide this process and kind of take audit of what are key essentials. But I mean, Linda, you can speak to that a little bit more.
It depends on the firm. If you have 2,000 open matters, it's going to take longer than someone who doesn't have any trust accounting at all. And it depends on what program you're coming from. Those are the two big factors. Sometimes it can be done you can turn it over in a month, depending on the size of the firm. We work mostly with the larger firms, so the mid-market firms, they usually run in conjunction with training and everything else, because there's lots of components, lots of phases. It can take up to 3 months for the average, I'd say, for the larger firm when you incorporate the rebuilding of the file and the training. And it always it depends on how fast we get back the information that we send out to be approved too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say to be fair to your firm, especially if you're mid-market, should look to around 3 to 4 months easy. And that doesn't mean that you can't be up and running in it. It just means that it just will take that duration of time. So be fair to the firm and all of the components that need to go with it.
And then the scarier question is, how much is it going to cost? That's always sometimes that can be the number one question we get asked, because again, I would love to say, oh, it's this amount of money, and it depends on the firm. Do you have a lot of rebuild? Because with a trust, we have to rebuild all the data behind it, the whole checkbook that brought you to the balance that's on the date that we're doing the conversion. So yeah, it depends on that.
Yeah, and it also depends on how clean the data is that's coming out of the programs. It's okay if it's not. It's just being fair about who's going to do what, how we're going to put this together, and obviously we're big on compliance. So what ties back and exactly to the penny? We're looking for those dollars and those details, that nitty gritty stuff.
Yeah, we have a firm behind us too. We have a team behind us, so it's not just Sarah and I trying to rebuild a lot of data. So we do have that in place that makes it easier too.
Yeah. The next big one that's always the question, somewhere middle kind of section, is how safe is it? And we're going online, like, what do we need to do? How does this work? And I think if you're going to consider this, you consider currently what you're doing now. You have a server that you have to maintain. How do people log into that, and so forth? All these web-based programs, we can speak to certain ones. I mean, most financial ones are built with the same bank encryption that you have to have. I mean, they almost all are, the ones that we like to use, and we can help you with sort of what that looks like, but also how you interact with it, what permissions people are going to have depending on the programs, what maybe timekeepers, from a paralegal to a partner to an associate. You have to look at the myriad of things that you want. It is cloud-based, so also we want to take into consideration What's the work equipment that they're using? Are they using office equipment? Is it an office supplied laptop? So, I mean, just kind of take audit of all of these things.
And really, desktop software, especially if you're on Microsoft and that desktop software, sometimes there's vulnerabilities with just that being it's Windows and they can get in that way. Where the web-based stuff, like you just said, is actually safer than being. And I know people have that fear of it being hacked, but you're actually less likely with the cloud-based stuff, which is awesome. And of course, then you've got the portability, you've got the ability to work from multiple devices and locations. So, I mean, that's all part of it. Part
I
of the
think you've just touched on the win part, the one that we see often. And often we hear, you've just allowed me to move a person who is stuck doing a desk job into a new position to be able to do more supporting roles because we're not beholden to an antiquated system that takes a long time to load up, that's only office based. So I think Linda just served up something that we see as a big win and a lot of applause there that we get. And the last thing sometimes really centers around workflow and how that looks. And this process, it will develop and morph into a new workflow. So we just have to, we like to pivot and change and show offerings of apps and technology that can work best based on your firm, not based on what is out there, based on what is tailored to your needs and how you're going to work with it. And I know Linda can speak to some of the nuances of things she's trained on.
Yeah, we do have a specific workflow that we like to use, but it really depends on the firm and what the client needs are. And that's the main things that we look at when we start to build out the workflow, because we are workflow specialists. So we're really, that's what we love to do. It's one of the things we love to do. And we also love to get into high level reporting and all the fun stuff that goes along with that. But yeah, we do have favorite apps, but we also are open to, we just had a client recently that came up with something an app that we weren't aware of that we think will probably work and help a lot of our clients. So we learn and grow as we do each migration. So it's been fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So on that note, let's end this video and hopefully give you an idea of what we do and how we love to do it.
Definitely.